question for y'all.
Okay.
Pop quiz with any answer you want to give. What would you rather take? What move would you rather take? Would you rather take 10 Gunther slaps to the chest? Okay. Or Darby Allin's bump from Sunday night through the glass?
And I know that I'm going to land perfectly on the glass.
There is no such thing as perfect.
Now I'll take the 10 chops by Gunther.
I'm taking none of them shits. That's why I don't wrestle. Not one. I'm not taking a pinky from Gunther. And I am damn sure I ain't falling through no glass. Kudos to those men.
So as we can see, Eshaun can't follow directions. This is the fastest time in history, Rhodesia. We are less than a minute in.
Yeah.
And he just can't answer a question. He also doesn't understand what it is to create content, but that's fine. I will answer the question, and I would say I'll go through the glass. I'm not taking 10 chops because if by that second or third chop, I'm gonna be ready to fight. The glass is just one bump.
But that's why I asked specifically, do I know that we're going to land perfect on the glass? Because I probably would have picked that because it's just that one move. And they actually pretty much did what we want them to do after Darby takes a hellacious move. Chill out for a while. He was out for a while. He didn't get back up right away. So bravo to AEW for that. But the Gunther chops is something else. Like for real, I would run and go find a bat and hit you. I'm ready to hit you at this point for real.
Look, I'm not taking the pinky. Look, this is the second time I've ran or jogged and got injured. So you think I'm about to fall through some glass? I can't mentally even prepare to play along with that one.
He said confused. This. So he hurt himself.
Oh,
and
okay.
My guy is taking medicines, and he said he hurt himself. He said he pulled a back muscle. I said, like, how'd you do that? He's like, sorry. Yeah. He said, like, he was jogging and he aggravated it.
Aw.
Yeah. And 5 years ago, I was getting in shape because I was about to start AR Fox's school here in ATL. I'm like, I got to get in shape. I got to make sure my chest is right. And I pulled a rib muscle in jogging. So maybe I just need to be happy, fat, and brown.
Yeah,
fat,
but
brown,
how does that happen, though? Jogging?
Yeah, but no, the funny part is, like, he's explaining that as if one of those options were good options. It was just a what if. They're both horrible options. You shouldn't want to take neither one of them.
Right.
But
neither one.
There you are. So yeah, give me the glass. Give me the glass. Welcome to the episode 113 of the TFW podcast. You guys know that's Freakin Wrestling. I am your host, Matt, joined by my usual co-host, a 80% healthy Eshaun, fighting through the groin pain and back pain and whatever else pain he's got going on. And then a 100% healthy Rhodesia that just got home from a work event. So we're recording a little bit later, but you guys won't know the difference because I'm still going to make sure we get this out to you guys on Wednesday. Let's start. There's a lot of different spots we can start. I think we have to start with Sting's retirement, right? Like, isn't that the spot to go with? Shout out to Sting. And let's stick with Sting first before we get to actually the Revolution pay-per-view. Is there a better retirement from a wrestler before what we saw Sunday night?
I'm going to absolutely have to say no. I mean, the only ones I can actually think of that I've seen was Ric Flair. And the final sequence was beautiful.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels.
Hey, which Ric Flair, though?
Ric Flair in WWE after Shawn, or right before Shawn super kicked him. Told him I loved him.
Not with Jay Lethal and.
No, I don't count that one because I didn't even see that match. I
Yeah.
wasn't condoning that match at all. So I never even saw it either after the fact. I heard it was pretty bad.
I think Flair's had 3 retirement matches.
Wow.
Woo! Okay. So no Flair. And then what was the other one you want to say?
What was Shawn Michaels. And there was a Japanese, I want to call him Grand Metalik, but it was maybe the not Hoovy 2.
You made Grand Metalik retire.
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks.
Not Hoovy 2, but who's the other guy? I think he retired. A luchador retired a few years ago. He went on a retirement campaign, a retirement tour. No, I mean, I can't think of anybody. I mean, I love, again, the epic of the end of the era when you have, was it Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Undertaker, I think, walking up the ramp. And that was like wow, I can get the goosies thinking about that. Other than that, and that's just the moment itself.
Right, and that was nobody's retirement either.
Oh, you're right. It wasn't. It was just the end of the era. So for me, the only real retirement match I saw was Flair's. Clearly, that wasn't his final match. But no, Sting's it.
I didn't see the match. I just saw like a couple of screenshots from it last night. I planned on watching it Monday before, all hell broke loose over here. And I spent 24 hours in the ER. But just from the reading about it and seeing the screenshots, it seemed to look really, really cool. And that's kind of on par because, Matt complains about AEW all the time. And but what we can't complain about is how they booked Sting over the course of the past 4 or 5 years he's been with the company. Excellent run. They've always done right by him. So this seems like another instance of them doing right by Sting by giving one of the best retirements we've seen.
Are we doing like name switches on this podcast where I'm Eshaun and your name is Matt? And are we doing that?
Our fans know what's up.
I think this is the quickest this is the quickest that E didn't follow directions and the quickest that we've kind of just threw somebody under the bus.
He threw himself under the bus.
Let's keep going. Let's keep moving. Let's keep going. Let's keep throwing people under the bus.
This fool was just shitting on AEW the last episode, and he called my name for some reason. That's interesting. And I can't wait to hear his thoughts on the Revolution pay-per-view that he did see. Again, if he doesn't want to give it up, we can go to the text messages, just like the scorecards if we were doing judges. Yes, I would agree. So I was sitting there watching, and I'm thinking like, okay, this is fantastic. They are treating him right. And then I'm like, but would I put this over Shawn's retirement? And then I have to put it over Shawn's retirement just because Sting won. Right? Like, yes, that's a work thing, but he went out on top, legit on top. And then I was like, but Flair's retirement was great. And then that next night, the follow-up was like the best retirement I had ever seen. But then he came back. So then it's not really in a retirement. So I had to throw that one out.
Back.
Yeah. So I got to go Sting. And I got to go Sting from a perspective of his kids are out there. Like, that was awesome to see. Mm-hmm. And then to be in the Sting character, for him to go out on top, main event, win the match, do all of his known Sting spots with no selling some of the things, you probably couldn't get it any better than what it was. So, and E, you kind of made a comment about how they've treated Sting. I think Tony Khan and AEW has done an incredible job of showing future Hall of Famers that would want to go to AEW if their time is up with WWE or if WWE doesn't see any more value in them at the level they think. He showed at how he is willing to treat legends. And I think that's going to go, actually, I know that's going to go a long way with if this is able to come up again. What Sting has done is off the charts incredible. He's 65 years old? I'm not talking about no other 65-year-old guys. I'm talking maybe like an Edge, right? Where, okay, WWE is like, hey, there's not much more we got for you, but you got some more in the tank. Come here and we're going to make sure we present you in the best light as possible. And the other thing that I think what AEW did was all bets are off now with any type of retirement match of this level, of a legend, this kind of thing in AEW, because you don't know where it's going to be placed on the card. You don't know who's winning. And I thought that was a really good precedent that they set too. So shout outs to AEW, shout outs to Sting. Congrats, my good man. You deserve all the flowers for that performance too. Because we're going to do no DQ. We're going to do some plunder, of course, so we don't have to work a regular match. But the match was awesome. And it was cool too, because I sent out a text, or not a text, but a tweet on X about a couple hours before Revolution. Follow us if you are not yet. That's FNW on X. And I just asked, why are you buying Revolution? And the options were because of Sting's last match. Another option was the world title storyline. Another option was the whole card in general. And then the last option was because I order all AEW pay-per-views. Sting was number one at over 80% of the vote.
Wow.
So, which is great. And now I'm excited, of course, to see the buy rates on this show to see if it was normal or if it was above normal. We know it won't be below. So either there's going to be at what they typically do or higher. And from what I can see, I think it's going to be higher. There was a few people that watch this show that typically do not watch AEW pay-per-views. And I think they enjoyed it. I think they did what they needed to do. Now, let's kind of talk about Revolution. And the reason why I said E was because, and I'll let him kind of say what he wants to say, but E was not enjoying said show early on in the night. And we kind of stopped texting when he really started hurting over there. So I don't know like what match he stopped watching that and what his overall thoughts were. But E, I'll throw it to you. Revolution thoughts. Give me your thoughts on the pay-per-view.
You know, I was pretty grouchy because I was in a lot of pain. I don't think I could even get off the ground at that point. But I was kind of irritated with what I was watching while I was on the ground because I couldn't get up and leave any sooner. But, you know, I want to keep it positive because, you know, I know that, you know, Rhodesia loves her some AEW.
I want to keep it positive.
Yeah, because Rhodesia loves AEW. And I know that, you know, for Matt, it's very important that TFW is very AEW positive. And so I want you guys to go ahead and talk about all the 5-star matches and the match of the year candidates and all the moves that you like. So I don't want to interfere with the positive things you guys got going on. So I'll take a step back and listen and, you know, add as I can.
That's cold word that he didn't really watch.
That's what I say. So
I told you that I was in one spot. I couldn't move watching this pay-per-view.
Why throw that nasty shade? Why throw that nasty shade? That was passive aggressive about how good AEW is.
Tell your audience the things you did see, your thoughts about the pay-per-view.
Yeah, because at about 10:30, I would have got up and took my black ass to sleep. That's what I would have did on a Sunday night.
10:30 was what, like match 2?
Yeah.
It's a long
so
card, man.
We gotta talk to Tony Khan, man. That's my guy, though. That's my guy, man. I would love to meet him one day and shake his hand. And I hope that the promotion continues to grow. But these Sunday night pay-per-views, we got to do something different, man. They got to start these bad boys. I don't know why they don't start them at like 6 o'clock and let them run 6 to 10. Like, right, that'd be fine, right? Then afterwards, I can get into bed because I don't get into bed about 10:30 anyway. Because people got kids and etc. Like, I guess they assume everyone's like 20-something years old and they ain't got nothing to do the next day. But, you know, a good portion of the audience is in their 30s and probably had careers. We got stuff to do on Monday. I'm not calling off work to watch a pay-per-view. But, no, y'all go ahead and talk about all the match of your candidates. I'm sure we got a lot. You know, Will Ospreay had a really nice match. If you could take out the insane no sales that he do in all of those matches. Take that as a compliment. Yep. You can take that because when I watch those matches, that's what takes me out of those matches. When I watch, like, oh, this is a good match, and then all of a sudden something weird just happens. I'm like, okay,
he's smoking crack over there.
Okay, cool. No. I don't see. Here's what y'all don't understand. I grew up in the late '80s when they tried to at least make this stuff make kind of somewhat of a sense. So now we go into, you know, AEW 2024 where everyone no sells everything, and we're supposed to just act like this shit don't hurt. But the next roll-up is going to be what's going to pin somebody. That takes me out of it. But again, go ahead and talk about all the 5-star matches, y'all. I'm here for it.
So then with that being said, maybe you really haven't been watching NXT because that is a spot on every takeover and a spot on every major NXT TV show. And it's been a spot on every major NXT TV show. But I know it's cool for you to shit on it.
I know it's cool that because this is one thing I will say I find irritating. Matt throws on this cape and he becomes a superhero. He tries to defend the bullshit. And I know you know better because we grew up in the same era, but keep going with it. You're right. NXT, WWE, and the whole industry does exactly what AEW does. You're right. Go ahead.
And we've talked about how great NXT has been. So you can't you're a lot like these trolls online where you take a 30-second clip and then you try to write an entire essay surrounding the 1 30-second clip. Now, if they had no sold everything in that match or the majority of the offense, then yes, you have a point. But maybe because you were hurting, you wasn't really paying attention to the match.
Absolutely.
The no-sell part was one spot that was clipped up, which was fantastic too. Absolutely match of the year candidate. And that's where that comes from. But like I said, that is something that every single promotion does. What we don't like,
my hands up,
is when there is a move that should be the finish and it's not even a 1 count or like a tombstone outside the ring. And then we don't even throw him in the ring to get pinned. Or if Darby Allin would have went through that glass and then he's back up 2 minutes later on his comeback. Those are our issues. I don't have an issue at all with that spot from the Takeshita and Will Ospreay match because they sold their asses off before that spot. They sold their asses off after that spot.
Okay. Sting had more no sales than Takeshita and Ospreay, and Sting match was good. That's why. Okay.
Hold on.
I said y'all haven't listened. I just got finished saying I didn't see the match.
and he put Sting in his top 10. That's what Sting is known for, is no selling.
So the Road Warriors.
Wasn't he around in the 80s? Wasn't he around in the late 80s?
Oh my goodness, 80s.
That's part of their characters, but we don't talk about characters and stories because we don't care about nothing. All we care about is match of the year candidates. So keep talking about the matches of the years.
I'll be honest with you.
It's all good. It's all good.
Your style of wrestling is different than my style of wrestling. We can agree to disagree there.
Yeah, I know, because you think Roman Reigns is the worst main event wrestler in the history of the business. I know.
He's boring. His matches are very boring to me. Yeah. That's an absolute fact to me. But he's still one of my favorite wrestlers. But you can't sit up here and talk about Will Ospreay and Takeshita's match and say that they no sold, and you didn't really watch that match in its entirety.
I didn't mention any specific spots in the match. Actually,
you just said he don't sold it. I didn't
mention a specific spot. I said when I see those things, I don't like it. But look, I know y'all love the Will, so I'm not going. I honestly don't have the energy to sit there and listen to y'all AEW trolls talk about how great these things are. I'm gonna let y'all have it. Talk about the match of the year candidates. Go ahead and say like we always do. This is the best pay-per-view of the year, and it's gonna, turn the company around. Go ahead. I'm here for it.
He really is those pieces of shits online. The people who don't watch, but then they got so much to say. That's crazy. You turned into what we hate. On this show.
You guys are where I hate right now. I haven't said anything, and you guys you can't even tell me. You can't talk about the 5-star matches. We ain't gotta go back and forth about it.
Oh man, we gotta stop worrying about the people who say negative stuff online, and that's you right now. Don't get mad at us, man, because you're in pain, dude. We didn't do that to you. All right,
go ahead.
You gotta stretch next time before you
talk about how much y'all love it. We ain't gotta talk about how much I thought it was an okay pay-per-view. Y'all go ahead and talk about how much you loved it, and it was the match of the year. Go ahead. I'm here for it.
So Ospreay and Takeshita was absolutely the match of the year so far for me. Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. And I said that was going to be the match. Now, what I do want to talk about...
Oh, well, then he's going to really hate what I'm about to say then.
What you going to say?
You can go ahead first, man. About outside of the Takeshita and Will Ospreay match, my match of the night. He's really going to hate. If he already...
Now, okay, hold on a second.
Was it the meat match?
Sure? Are you sure you feel that way after the pay-per-view was over? Yes, during the pay-per-view, I can see that. But are you sure?
Yes. If I'm looking at just purely the work rate of the match itself, yes, I am so very positive in my stance there. But as far as all the entertainment and all that other stuff, maybe not. But as far as just from bell to bell, what I saw with their work rate, their synergy together was electric. That to me was my favorite work match of the night.
What was it?
Oh, you ready for it?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that you about to disown me as a friend at this point.
No, I told you, I'm here for it. I want to hear about all the moves y'all loved. Go ahead.
Oh my God, Roddy Strong and Orange Cassidy.
Oh
my God. From beginning, from bell to bell. Yeah, that match was a perfect match. They were in sync the entire time through that match. There was no flubbers. There was no mistakes. There was no miscues. Flubbers. You know what a flubber is?
I know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Flubber.
Flubber is like when you mess up something. It's a flubber. You flubber on a word. You like how sometimes I flubber on words. You flubber in a match. So when you have those you effed up spots. Those
it's kind of like the Velveeta Dream from last episode.
The Velveeta Dream in your mama's kitchen, making that Velveeta.
Rhodesia, you cooking? Don't let that man take your
point. Point is that match to me, just the quality of that match itself. I don't know who was calling the match, who was leading it, who produced that match. Just overall, from beginning to the end, I can't call it the match of the night because, again, we have a Will Ospreay and Takeshita as a candidate of match of the year. But that Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy match blew me away.
Yeah, they killed it. They worked really, really hard in that match. And Roddy Strong's conditioning is like just off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen him blown up.
Yeah.
So the thing about like Revolution was, for good or bad, happy or sad, left or right, up or down, it was AEW's at its finest and worse. So if you didn't like Revolution, AEW's just not for you, which is completely fine.
Mm-hmm.
But like the bad parts for me was just the length of the show. These shows are just too long. And if I look at this card, and I'm going to use 0 Hour because they're in the ring, right? So they're working in front of the audience. I'm going to use that. Both 0 Hour matches could have got nixed. I was personally looking forward to the women's match. The women's match was pretty good. But that first match, absolutely not. The All-Star 8-man scramble was horrible.
Yep.
Did nothing for anybody. I even tweeted that. Just typically in those kind of matches, either you're trying to set up feuds, you're trying to put somebody really over, and or you're giving somebody a spotlight. So they're bigger coming out than they were going in. And none of those three things happened.
But we knew who was going to win the 8-man scramble.
And he ain't no bigger than what he was.
No,
right?
He's not. No.
I don't think any feuds came out of that match. And nobody's bigger than what they were going in. So that was a miss. If this card would have been FTR versus Mox and Claudio, Garcia versus Christian, Ospreay versus Takeshita, Kingston versus Bryan, Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong. I hate to leave the women off, but that match didn't belong on a pay-per-view either. That wasn't a good match. It was like average, which it shouldn't have been average. I put Tony over a few weeks ago. Yeah, I put her over a few weeks ago saying she's really starting to figure out how to work a match with her gimmick, but that match wasn't good.
I wonder though if it's where it was at though. In the card. I wonder if that
match may have been Deanna's worst match I've seen her in.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was, once again, it wasn't horrible, but you look at those two, you say, and they actually had a real story. Okay, cool. They're going to have a great match, and it wasn't great. But
okay, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say one that's a hot take for me is I actually was not too much of a fan of the TNT match between Christian Cage and Daniel Garcia. And for me, it came because of Mama, what's his name? Nick fucking Wayne. So Mama
Nick's
Wayne.
Mom.
Mama Wayne. She is terrible. Like I came on here 3 months ago.
She got an extra half star for me for that match.
Didn't.
Whatever you got that match, add a half star on that bad boy.
No, I was like, y'all was being hard on her like 2-3 months ago because she was her selling Edge coming out beforehand, and I was taking up for her. 2-3 months later, man, she was terrible. Christian pretty much had to say, "Go stand over there." Like you see him pointing for her to go move. Like she was terrible. To me, that match. Daniel,
full star actually. Full star. So if you give that a 2-star, I'm giving it a 3-star.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Rhodesia, you didn't like the Women's World Championship match either?
I think it was a little bit flat for me, but I also think it was a placement on the card for me because I also felt like the main event. No, the main event was Sting. But the main event with the co-main event with the men's heavyweight championship to me kind of was not where I thought it would be either. But I think that's just because I became fatigued and watching wrestling. Because I even told Matt at one point, yeah, I'm getting to my fatigue part right now, my fatigue moment.
But that's the issue with how long these shows are.
It was just long.
It's a long show, man. It's a long show. So my whole point was if you take off like the 3 matches that you could argue shouldn't have been there, absolutely there shouldn't have been matches on the pre-show. We're talking about now a 3-hour show. And we're walking away like, man, they killed it. And I still think it was I think it was a really, really good show.
I think
you're saying instead of the 0 hour, you start the show at 7?
Yeah, man. Start it at 7 and go 3.5 hours. Hard out at 10:30 or hard out at 10:45. And we don't have these issues, but it's a lot of wrestling. It's a lot of wrestling, especially when, and I go back to what I said a few weeks ago. You guys remember, I think we were talking about Dynamite, and I kind of just read off the list, you guys, and I'm like, who's the heel, who's the baby face.
Mm-hmm.
That was striking to me on the pay-per-view of just how there are no real heels in AEW. When I say real heels, I'm talking people that get booed. So Christian got booed.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho
young Bucks got booed. Oh, yeah, Jericho did get booed. Yeah, Bucks got booed.
Hangman
got booed.
And Takeshita only because he was going against Ospreay. Every other match was like 50-50, and it is hard to get invested.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't UFC, right? But the best UFC fighters and the worst, and the best boxers, they're heels and babies. There's heels and babies. And I still go back to that. I don't know how you fix it because the AEW crowd is a very hardcore, smart crowd. But that was what I felt like was missing in a lot of those matches was there just wasn't real heat. And they had storylines. If we were to go down this list, which we're not going to, but if we were to go down this list, we could name a storyline for every single match. Like, okay, and it's pretty, all right, easy to follow, got it. It's just the heat behind it kind of wasn't there. So for me, that was like what outside of this show was just really long. I think it was a combination to me. It's long and what is really my investment in these matches. You guys know how much of a huge Will Ospreay fan I was. That was the highest I got for a match outside of the main event because I was ready to see Ospreay. I knew him and Takeshita was going to do what they needed to do. So I'm up. But other than that, I wasn't up again until the main event because I knew when it was the co-main, I know we had talked about it on our show, I was like, man, Joe's keeping the title.
Mm-hmm. You did say that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he ain't dropping it.
I just knew Swerve wasn't going to win. I just knew that.
I don't think it was it felt like it's not his time yet because I feel like he's still going through a character transformation right now. Like you can see he's kind of transitioning into like a baby face. I don't want to see him win the championship until he, gets to his final, morphs into his final self, whatever that's going to be.
So then we know Tony Khan does not like to pivot from his planned storyline. So let's say his planned storyline is the one I said where Ospreay is in the main event match at All In for the world title. We do know AEW just added a pay-per-view April 28th, I believe. Either April 21st or April 28th.
I think it's the 28th, I think.
So
find out.
That gives you 9 weeks to get Swerve ready. Now, the caveat is either you give Swerve that belt in April or we got to hold off because we want him to have a few month reign before Ospreay wins it. Which one you going with? Do you think he'll be ready in 8 weeks?
Are you for sure Ospreay's getting to that soon?
I'm only going if that's the case. If they want to crown him at Wembley. I'm only going off of if they do that.
I mean, I guess that's long enough. Like, for me, I like, when you go Swerve, you're going all out with him, not as, because you're creating a transitional champion even at that point. And I don't want to see Swerve as a transitional champion because we also got MJF, coming up pretty soon. I'm sure that he's going to be back in the title picture at some point too. So, my signs don't point to Will Ospreay ascending that quickly, but I mean, I guess it's possible.
Well, then, and the other part too is Wardlow won that match, so he's number one contender now, right?
But he
wasn't that what the
that's what it is. The 8-man scramble was to get a shot at the title, the heavyweight title.
Yeah, I know. I said it last episode. You said you didn't want to hear it, but Roddy Strong won a belt. The tag team, they still got the ROH titles, right? And you go back to Adam Cole's initial heel promo. He said Wardlow is going to win the championship and he's going to hand it over to me. Jeez. So now we know Wardlow is going to win the championship. I guess maybe now it's just the point of does he hand it over or does he keep it? When we get to that point.
Well, for clarification, AEW Dynasty is April 21st in St. Louis, Missouri.
So yeah, about 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I like that name.
Dynasty.
AEW Dynasty.
And if they give Swerve the belt for 4 months, I'm good with that.
That's transitional, man. Ugh. You just giving the title to give him the title. Yeah.
So what would you say? So what number is not transitional? Like how many weeks or months?
I would say at least maybe 6.
So you got half a year. Okay. Rhodesia, what do you think? What is not a transitional champion?
You could get away with 4, but it has to be in an impactful 4 months. But if you just have, but if you have to just say just a blanket, time, I would say 6 months.
Because how many pay-per-views would that be?
But that's Rhodesia, the thing too. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, so
see, like, but I want to know when I want to know something on the show. I got to ask Rhodesia. So how many pay-per-views we got?
Double or Nothing, and then All In, and then All Out.
And that 4-month period.
Well, when are we saying he's getting it? At Dynasty?
Well, that's all they've announced so far.
At Dynasty, though, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, but he was asking how many pay-per-views.
But May's Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Let's throw one in between June and July. So boom, and then you're All In, All Out. So you're still talking about 4 possible pay-per-views. To me, I think that's a long time.
Transitional champion. When I think transitional champion, if you're talking about monthly pay-per-views. Now, if you're not talking about monthly pay-per-views and say they're quarterly, and you only last for 3 months, you were a transitional champion. But I would probably say, like now, I don't think Joe's a transitional champion if he loses it on his next go round.
Like even if he loses this week, you say that he's not a transitional.
They wouldn't have him. I mean, if he loses this week, probably so. But like, any other time if they build up that match either for Dynamite or for Dynasty, I don't think he's a transitional champion. Now he would have been to me if he would have lost, of course, on his first 2 defenses. So probably for me, that's probably more what I think about when transitional champions is how many defenses do they have? Because you can have the belt for 8 months, but if that's only 2 defenses. Roman Reigns.
So I would say you call Roman Reigns a transitional champion.
No, he's not a transition. He's
but he only has like 5 wins.
Maybe not transitional.
In 5 years.
I might say maybe forgettable reign, because I think that if Joe loses the belt in another month, I think his reign would be kind of forgettable. Because you think about it in hindsight, because life just goes so quickly. Mm-hmm. Boom, you are in there. So here's the thing, like, because when Joe loses, if he loses, right, you're gonna go to, let's say it's Swerve or whoever. He's not gonna touch that world title scene for some time, right? So you're gonna quickly forget he's champion, and that's what I don't want. Swerve, right? We're in the crown Swerve as the first ever Black AEW champion, and then within a pay-per-view or 2 he's lost the belt, and now we on to something else, right? It's Will, it's MJF, it's whoever. He hasn't touched it. Like, now it becomes kind of forgettable almost. I hate to bring it up, Kofi Mania, right? We had our feel good moment with Kofi, right? He won the championship, had it for a little while, got squashed by Brock, never touched it again, right? The only reason why we remember it is because it was historic for us about what it meant for the Black culture. But, if you take that out of it, like, it was kind of a forgettable title reign.
I can't even remember who else he worked in that program before he got to Brock. I mean, Brock was kind of like Thanos. He just wiped everything away before. Like, I don't remember anything from the time, like, he was on New Day's shoulder at WrestleMania to when he dropped that belt in, like, 13 seconds to Brock on that Fox debut of SmackDown. It was rough. I don't know why we brought that up. Now I'm down now. But, yeah, so overall, 2 thumbs up on Revolution. Rhodesia, 2 thumbs up, would you say?
2 thumbs way up, and that would have been a perfect pay-per-view if you dropped the 12-man tag and the 8-man scramble. You took those 2 matches off, that will be perfection, chef's kiss. And just so you know, I was trying to pull up Kofi Kingston defense titles. Why the first search come up? When did Kofi Kingston lose his accent? Y'all wrong. Y'all Google is wrong.
That's a good question.
y'all
Man,
wrong.
I think he was around during this time, Rhodesia. But Matt, you remember that time where Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Cody all in the ring, and they cut that promo?
Yep.
And then they're trying to rally the troops, and Kofi came in there and was like, "Yo, we gotta stay together. We don't do it. SmackDown's come get us." And then Triple H was like, first of all, what happened to your accent? Weren't you Jamaican? I think that was the first time.
Oh, man. He killed that one. That was funny. And I think, I can't remember if it was that time or recently when somebody said something about it on air and Kofi was like, yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, no, that was funny. It was backstage if he said that.
Yeah, CM Punk was talking to him.
Yeah. That's
like, you're making me crazy. Yeah, but I would give that pay-per-view a 2 thumbs up had I seen the main event. Just reading about it, I meant to go back and just to see that one match because I, as a big Sting fan, it seemed like it was a nice tribute. But that's one thing. Like, when you think about the course of a match, there's not always like that tribute like that. Like, right,
Correct.
the way they did it was, like I said, Tony Khan has, I haven't really liked his creative since the inception of AEW, but what I've always respected is how they've treated Sting. They've treated Sting with so much respect. The pairing with Darby was great. And the nice thing with actually just pivoting off Sting real quick, going to Darby, I think that they set up Darby in a way to where now he doesn't have Sting by his side, Darby still can stand strong on his own. Like, right, because they kind of made him independent. And that was a great job with them that Darby can stand on his own without Sting, because they've been entangled. Oh, I guess I can't use entangled anymore since Jada kind of screwed up the word, right?
I was like they were in an entanglement?
Yeah, I guess I can't use it like because of that. But yeah, but I think Darby would be just fine without Sting. But just kudos to them the way they ran it. But had I seen that, I think that would have been two thumbs up, because I think the last 3 matches were strong. I didn't have a problem with the Tony Storm match, because I'm actually invested in the character. So for me, when I'm invested in a character like that, I usually can kind of overlook, because the match is just fodder for me at that point.
Yeah. And to your point about Darby, he said something during the scrum that I thought was like kind of eye-opening. He made a comment and he said, like, hey guys, like, this is about to be new for me. Like, Sting has been by my side for 3 years now.
Yep.
Like, so for me to be a singles act kind of now by myself is going to be different. It was kind of like a peek behind the curtain where it's like, you don't think about that. You just think, all right, now you're back solo. And it's like, well, no, this guy has been with me for 3+ years, right? Invested in this storyline.
Give his ass a writer and he'll be just fine.
And you made a comment too, E, about just how well you got to go back and watch it, of course, but how well the tribute was to Sting. I'll tell you what, Goldberg, if you're watching, I would be good if I didn't see another Goldberg match, but imagine Goldberg getting the type of retirement that he should have gotten from WWE. I'm not going to say deserved or anything like that, but the retirement that he was probably told he was getting. Remember, he said, Vince told him, like, hey, we'll send you off right, we'll give you a retirement match, and he didn't get it. But that could be something that could be some money into it. And I would say it probably is some money into it, and you can do that at All In.
Whoa, at All In.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
We got to pack that stadium. A couple of go ahead.
Before you
Rhodesia.
leave, I was thinking about what you said about Darby saying that this is new to him. Did you catch when, and I don't know when he said it, maybe he said it in the ring, I don't know. Oh, maybe right before they fade to black or cut the feed, when Sting said that Darby was his favorite tag team partner of all time. I thought that was really, really, like,
that's big too.
Emotional. That was pretty emotional for me, because again, this is the only Sting that I know. So, and all I've ever heard was the Stings of the past. I even had to have Matt give me kind of a schooling of the colors of his face makeup and stuff. So to me, I felt like, wow, that's pretty powerful, because at least I've watched Sting during the time where he felt he had his favorite tag team partner with him.
That's a big deal. I was going to say, we had a couple of comments I wanted to read. Before I get to those comments, though, I forgot to mention we had a Warrior wrestling show here in Chicago this past weekend. Shout out to everybody that was there. We had a good time. We actually held it it's called Revolution. I think it's called like Revolution Brew. So it was like wrestling and beer. That was like two of my favorite things.
Hello.
Like perfect. They were great partners to have us. We had some other people there from other breweries, so we'll see kind of what that plays out. But I only bring that up because we had Lance Archer there as a surprise. And he just carries himself as a star when he's working.
Indeed.
And it's like, I know there's only so many spots. We're sitting here talking about the top of the top, and we got Jay White on the pre-show, so I get that. But
we don't talk about that.
You would think, man, like, he deserves more on TV than what
he was. I'm not sure. I assume that something happened in the back with he and Tony, because he was getting pushed pretty well for especially in the first couple year and a half. He had a couple high profile matches, and all of a sudden he just started not getting used, like, out of nowhere.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. And it goes back to what I feel like they have an issue with knowing how to build monsters. Like the one that you can't really point to one. Warlow's starting to pick steam back up. He was the one you would have pointed to. But other than that, what other monster can you say like they are pushing them as a monster? Hobbs? Nope. Luchasaurus?
Yeah,
nope.
who just beat
Brian
up
Cage?
Luchasaurus? Oh,
Nope.
with Magic Mike up here beating up Luchasaurus. Like, come on, let's just be for real here.
But it was all punches, and it should have. He was on fire, he's a face. You got to remember that. On
Okay.
fire, he's a face.
All right, that's that suspension of disbelief. But to me, again, you are a dinosaur. How is Magic Mike with a punch beating you up the ramp? You have an advantage. You're over him and you're higher on the ramp. I digress.
That's crazy talk. But hey, real quick though, saying I thought about Lance. I'm like, man, like maybe when his contract's up, he can go to WWE, right? Because he hasn't been since he was I forget what his name was back in the game, but that was like 10, 12 years ago, right? But he's like 47, right? He'll be 48 or something like that once his contract is over, I believe, something around there. Like I can't see someone that old getting a run up there. He doesn't look it.
No.
Right? He doesn't look it, and his style will be fine. But I just feel like, man, he might just be too old to get up there. But I would love to see him go somewhere and actually get a shot. If that's TNA. I mean, TNA does a good job with characters like that. I think the world of that guy, man.
He just deserves to be on TV, man.
Yep.
He really, really does. So shout out to him. I was saying I had a couple of comments I wanted just to read about AEW from a couple people. So one was Brandon. Brandon watched the entire show. Remember, Brandon was on, I think, our Elimination Chamber show and said he was going to watch Revolution and, see if he can really get into AEW. So I just asked him for his quick thoughts. And he said, Ospreay is great and is a draw for casual AEW fans. That version of Takeshita is the version I've read and seen highlights about. For the time he's been there, he should be bigger. I hate that Danielson doesn't want belts. I'm not a fan of Kingston's style, and I feel like Danielson works at a lower tier, like he dumps himself down compared to talent that he's going against. I understand what he means by that because, that's not accurate. Like, Danielson complements your style. So, for the match with Eddie Kingston, the style of that match was what they presented to us. So there is no high flying, and it was more about just that respect factor. He's never respected Eddie Kingston. He's never shook his hand. And that was kind of the story, and that match kind of resembled that. But if I didn't know any better, I think Bryan should have been champion. I've said that. And now when he comes out, I know I'm going to get a great match, but I don't have really feelings toward Bryan when he wrestles. I know it's going to be great, but I'm just not invested anymore on him because to me, he's just been kind of stagnant. And I know that's not accurate to AEW diehards. I know there was a legit story that he had when he was working some of the Japanese talent that was coming in on Collision and doing this and doing that. But for me, for what I think he should be at, I just feel like this. I know he doesn't want to win titles, but it's like, man, they should have put the belt on him a while ago to me.
Hey, real quick, so going back to it, but my irritation with the pay-per-view wasn't necessarily the match quality. That's why I said that, I know you guys want to talk about the matches and whatnot, because for me, it is about character and story. And it's, as you said, it's just that the investment in each matchup wasn't there for me. And the character and the storyline. I mean, there's a similar story there. There are some character there, but for me, these are just matches. A lot of them, they're just matches. And I know we're gonna get good matches, but we always get good matches out of them. And for me, it was irritated that I had to I'm in pain, I'm hurt, I'm tired, and I gotta sit up to midnight to watch all these really good matches. Now, if these were really good stories that were unfolding, from a bell to bell's perspective, it would make a lot more sense. But I think that, we have a new writer coming in. One day I love to talk about it. Not tonight. I love to talk about where we are going with AEW after Mania. I think that'd be an awesome time. I would love to see a Swerve, headlining a new regime. We get Mercedes coming in, pretty soon. So there's a lot of eyes that can be on that product as we shift away from WrestleMania season. So, they got the talent. And it seems like they're making changes because Tony kind of just brings the people in to kind of help that company build up. So it's going to be a exciting time for us for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and the show was great. So hold that topic, E. Let's do that on Sunday then. We can talk that in SmackDown. He said, Orange Cassidy is so good. I agree. It was time for something new. The me match was horrible. There you go. Sting match was everything. Darby is great and stupid. TK has to protect Darby. That spot has to be the most extreme it ever can be. Beyond that, or no one's going to continue. I get that. Just saying that's a lot. He said the triple threat was cool. So somebody who was a quote-unquote casual AEW fan walked away with talking about Ospreay and Takeshita more than outside of Sting than anything else. So that was good to see. Our guy Devontae, forever on X. So he had sent me a message during the show like, hey, typically I don't watch AEW, but it's Sting's last match. I'm in. So we were kind of, just messaging back and forth throughout the show. I asked him for like his overall thoughts. He said, overall, I thought the show was a solid B. Ospreay match and the Sting match made it worth it. I think everything in that company, I think everyone in that company can wrestle exceptionally well, but not everyone can tell stories. The last two matches, they told stories. For even someone like me, who's a WWE guy, these tweets are out of order. Hold on one second. Can understand. Let down of the night, Toni Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo. That's funny I just said that. I was excited to see Toni Storm's character in real time. Deonna, I kept my eye on in TNA. The match didn't work to me, and I just think they could have built way more story into the feud. Worst match was the scramble, of course. Overall, solid.
He didn't see the 12-man tag match then.
But which I'm glad he didn't. He talked about the Bryan Kingston match was good. Darby Allin's a psycho. Sting match was incredible. So yeah, so it looks like a lot of us kind of feel the same way. Now you can say we're all WWE babies, WWF babies, right? Devontae just talked about he's a WWE guy. We know Brandon's a WWE guy. The three of us have been watching WWE longer than any other promotion for the most part. So we talk a lot about stories. Where somebody else who could have watched that show was like, I don't give a damn about your stories. If I wanted to watch stories, I'd be watching sitcoms or movies. Give me the action. And I get that too. And that's why
Rhodesia.
Competition is so beautiful.
Hey Matt, real quick. How old do you think Devontae is?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because when I hear his name, I only knew one Devontae in life, and that was Devontae Swain from Jodeci.
From Jodeci?
Right. Yeah, so I wonder, was his name inspired from Devontae Swain?
Devontae, instead of talking about SmackDown, tell us how old you are. We'll talk about you on the next show too.
Well, I take a little bit of heat on that comment there. Shade he just threw at me again. I love story. I appreciate story. I also love action matches. I love flip-flopping, topping, and all this acrobatic stuff. I love it. I love them both. I'm not the type that would say only a story is going to get me there. I'm also not the type to say only great match quality is going to get me there. I appreciate both, and I understand both has a place in wrestling and progressing wrestling as an industry. So I want to clear that up. Also, Lance Archer went by Vance Archer in FCW.
Yes.
Sting will be 65 in a couple weeks on March 20th. And for Kofi, his title defenses was against Ziggler, Samoa Joe, a triple threat of Dolphin, Samoa Joe, and with Randy Orton.
Which do you see what the pay-per-view match was?
The one was said Extreme Rules. The other one was like which called SmackDownville, and one was a Super Show.
Oh, so he only had one pay-per-view match.
From what I could gather really quickly.
I mean, I'm sure that's accurate, which is why we don't really remember. But to be fair, though, it wasn't about... I don't think anybody said like, man, you know what? I want Kofi to win the championship and I want him to have a run with it. I'm sure there were people who said that. We wanted the moment. Yeah. We wanted that moment, that crowning moment of you did it. This is the best thing that can happen to you in your entire career at WrestleMania. That was what we cared about. Yeah, so I mean, I hated that he still got squashed, but I don't think really a lot of people were clamoring for like, let's make this a long-term run during that time. Speaking of a long-term run, though, Hall of Fame. We finally got our first Hall of Fame announcement, and it is Heyman. Congrats to Paul Heyman, the GOAT, in my opinion, of anything verbal that you can do in a wrestling facility, ring, whatever. It is Paul Heyman. So, of course, absolutely deserves it. I do know he said before he didn't want to be inducted until after he was done. It's a no-brainer to do it in Philly. Right. My question to you two, who, if you had your pick, would you want to induct him in the Hall of Fame?
I saw what you put on the Twitter, and I don't know if I would have been able to come up with this answer independently without seeing what you said. Considering Brock is in his situation that he's in, Roman being who he is right now in character, Punk will probably have to induct him.
Hey, you could have said introduct, and I would have kept rolling right with you, man. See, I'm with you on these words, man.
Introduct.
As a fellow worder, you know what I'm saying? I'm with you. I think we should just roll with them.
I do wonder if people have like bingo cards on us at home, and then when they listen to the show, like Rhodesia said something like that.
If I make y'all money, you gotta give me some of it. You gotta give me some of it, okay? So I don't have to be going to my 9 to 5. Please give me some of it.
Well, I feel you. If I pick somebody different, I would go with the Tommy Dreamer. You know, I know Rhodesia wasn't alive back in the first half of
and that would
Paul
be
Heyman's.
E's, and that would be E's bingo.
Go to
talk about Rhodesia's young age.
Knowing good and well, I'm not even gonna put our business out there, but just for the listeners and the viewers who's watching this, there is not much of an age difference here between Eshaun and I.
There's a big age difference between us.
Okay.
But
maybe our backs say that. My back ain't hurt, but
oh shit, man, it's back now. Actually,
you felt it.
Actually, whatever. They got me on some Tamadrill right now, and I actually forgot about my back as we've been talking. So I think it's actually starting to work.
Hey, it's working. Or you just got your mind off of it. Rhodesia, go ahead and do the Googles on Tamadrill and like what it fixes and side effects. That'd be good to hear.
It is time for another dose though, but I'm gonna go with Tommy Dreamer. A couple reasons, because you know how Matt knows how closely they work with ECW.
Tramadol.
Yeah.
Dude, Tramadol. I know Tramadol. I've been on Tramadol before.
So you on it right now?
No, I'm not.
I'm on it right now. Damn.
Whatever. Sorry for cutting you off. It's Tramadol.
Yeah, but they were such an integral part of ECW. Mm-hmm. They had like a falling out, and I don't know if they may have had like they may have resold like later on. But I remember seeing like a video. I think it was like a ECW thing where it was Tommy Dreamer, Heyman, the Dudleys were there, and Taz were there, and they were talking about ECW, and they had like kind of a heartfelt conversation. And it seemed like there was some things that still hadn't been said. But so I would love for Tommy Dreamer to come out for once, because he hasn't been on WWE TV in over 10 years himself. And they just play such a major factor with each other's careers early in ECW. And that's where I feel like Heyman kind of really cut his teeth. Now he was in WCW, Dangerous Alliance. I saw all of that. I mean, that was great stuff, but I think he really, really made his name in ECW, and I thought Tommy Dreamer was a very integral part in that.
Hell yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got a lot that, I saw somebody bring up Austin. That would be a great one too, for sure. For me, I feel like it's Punk. Punk's not doing anything at Mania as of right now, this second. I do know he is advertised for the Raw show before Mania. That's interesting, so let's keep an eye on that. Mm-hmm. But I think that would be great. I think he was officially the first Paul Heyman guy in WWE. He wouldn't have gotten hired at all if it wasn't for Heyman. So I think there's, of course, a story you can tell there. And it's, you get to say CM Punk is at the WWE Hall of Fame. So
did you see that or hear that there was some Punk chants last on Raw?
Yeah. That's how the show went off the air.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. They must have saw him walking regular. Or what is his shoulder that was hurt? What was hurt on him? Tricep, okay.
Tricep, yep. So let's talk about Raw. We don't have to spend a ton of time on some of these pieces, but we can spend as long as y'all want. The opener I thought was a miss. I didn't think the Seth Cody promo was good. I thought Cody's was pretty good in regards to him explaining his side of the story. Cool, got it. So he was able to say his piece, but Seth was a miss.
That diarrhea Dwayne didn't make sense to me.
That was a miss. And it was just, and I get it too. You got TV time to fill because Rock said, hey, come Friday and accept the challenge. So we really didn't even need that promo.
Right.
So I mean, hey, not a big deal, but I didn't think it was good. I laughed because they're out there making fun of how long Rock's Instagram video was, which was 21 minutes. And by the time they went to commercial, it was 7:24 Central Time, 8:24 Eastern Time, which tells me 21 minutes is shorter than 24 minutes. And yeah, that included the theme song and the video package, but still, it was really, really, really close. So that didn't land either. Overall, I didn't think it added anything to it. I didn't think it took away from the program and the storyline. I just thought it was just there. What'd you guys think?
I echo that sentiment there. I love Seth. With Seth, unless he's that, what are we calling him? The aggressive Seth? Unless he's like not that is what he thrives the most in, when he's just that kind of just rough Seth. Like, you can still be comical, you can still be a caricature yourself a bit, you can still wear your fashionista clothes, but you still it's just like that intensity in him. And when he's not that, that's where you get the misses at. When he's on, you rarely get a miss from him. But when he's not doing that, that's when you will get a promo that we saw last night where Diarrhea Dwayne, that didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I thought Cody did a good job. Then out came Seth. I thought Seth did all right. I mean, I thought Seth was Sething. Yeah, Seth was.
I thought you were about to go hard. He was like, Cody did a good job, and then here comes Seth.
Seth was Sething. But you know what? To me, I've said it before, and I don't think I've went as far. He's like a better version of Triple H. He's what I would have liked Triple H to be. I think he's because they remind me of each other. Like, they get a lot of mic time, but I just don't feel like the content is that riveting, right? Like, he's out there. He tells a story to kind of get from A to B. He can fill time. He doesn't really flub his words. But it's just at the end of the promo, you'd be like, And I gotta say, we talked about about women's wrestling, me fast forwarding, you taking bathroom breaks. As I said, I'm equal opportunity. Be honest with you, I take a lot of bathroom breaks during Seth's matches and his promos.
Is it because he dresses up like a girl a lot?
He's had different
that was a joke.
Characters.
That's funny.
I just don't find him to be interesting. Like, I know he's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
Like I'll sit through a Cody match before I sit through a Seth match, but I'm more invested in Cody as a character. Like, right?
It's just
Seth he don't do it for me, man. He just don't.
Well, because it is true though. Like, so if you strip away, I know Yusuf is probably screaming right now at his phone and we're going hard on Seth. If you strip away the theme song, you take away the clothes and the laugh, what you have left is a fantastic wrestler.
Yep.
That goes bell to bell. I'll put him up there against anybody in this modern era.
Yep.
In terms of what you're going to get.
Yep.
If he wanted to throw out 5-star matches every single week, he could.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a layer underneath it unless a story dictates it. Right? So, like, I saw some people talking weeks ago on social media. They were talking about who Seth Rollins is. And they were saying that Seth Rollins is a guy who uses jokes and laughter and flamboyancy to hide that he's scared and he feels like he's not enough, et cetera, et cetera. And they kind of were pointing to why you would say that.
Like, shoot not enough or storyline
no,
enough?
like his character. The
Okay,
Seth Rollins character.
Okay.
And that's why when he is pushed, he gets really serious. That's great. They haven't really told that story. And I can understand not really telling that story, but that's why. It's like, okay, once you kind of get past the laughing and the singing, it's like, okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why he nailed that CM Punk promo. It's why he nailed that Cody Rhodes, hey, you need to fight me at Mania promo. Mm-hmm. That's why he's done some pretty good work with Drew too. But outside of that.
But there's something there, man, because you look at him, like, right, he looks the part. I don't care for the girl clothes. I think Rock's spot on. I don't care for the way he dresses, but he looks good, right? He's a fantastic wrestler. He can have some great moments on the microphone. I just don't know why we can't get a version of him that consistently puts all those things together. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Somebody who is putting all this stuff together, and they are throttlingly him down, is Jey Uso. That guy is over, and if they did not have a Cody Rhodes under contract, Jey Uso could be the number one babyface in WWE.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Not saying that I couldn't believe that, but wow.
Years ago, when it was the Usos as a tag team, that we will be saying, hey, Jey Uso could be the number one face in the entire company.
Oh,
I would have never said that.
Hey, doesn't he have one of the best entrances though? Like, right, the way he rocks that crowd.
Yes. Yep. I think his entrance, I think just his energy. I said before, like, I just feel like when you watch Jey, you know that's Jey, right? Yeah. We all feel like we're cool with Jey.
It oozes
we know
out
Jey.
of him. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what we gravitate to. So, to your point about Seth, and we can get off of Seth because Seth is great. There's not much people can like point to and say, I relate to you. Cody is super relatable. Right? And then, so like, you either need to be relatable or you need to be what people want to be. I.e. Roman Reigns, Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Right? CM Punk's relatable. Rey Mysterio's relatable. Small guy. So it's like, okay, you got to be one or the other. And I feel like Seth is kind of just right in that middle of he's good where he's at.
But I'm okay with that too, because again, we have a conversation probably, I think, with our brother-in-law about recycle gimmicks, recycle characters. We get that all the time. So it's okay for Seth to kind of create his own new lane and be innovative here. It's just that for me, he thrives when we're going to use the word serious, when he's serious Seth. It's when he's not serious Seth is where it's like, okay, you're kind of going through the motion.
I get that. What?
Hey, one last plug for WWE 2K because that came out today, and we're talking about Seth Rollins. He has this. They have to introduce something called super finishers this year, where if you save 3 finishers, you get to do like a super finishers almost.
Oh, nice.
Where you can't kick out of it. That was an issue with a couple of previous years. Is that if you were good with timing, you can kick out of pretty much any pin. Well, this new super finisher. It's like it's donezo. Like you got to be that guy to kick out of that, and he has an amazing super finisher. He does the stump like off the top rope. I've never seen him do that in real life. Maybe he has. It's where he got it from, but it looks brutal. We're gonna do a podcast. I'll come on and do a quick review. I haven't played much at all today, so maybe on Sunday, one of the week, we're getting to a nice little review.
Hey, E, as far as the finishers or kicking out, I got so mad when, and probably was when they first switched over to 2K, but when it was still just, I think it was called SmackDown versus Raw, whatever the WWE game was, when you could just button mash or move the analog stick enough to kick out. That was my highlight of my timing of gaming WWE. When they went into you had to time it, Lord have mercy. At that point, I couldn't play anymore. Or Matt knew, go for a pin. Give me a little bit groggy, go for a pin, and I can never kick out because my timing, my hand-eye coordination just doesn't work.
I used to pin Rhodesia off of snapmares.
No, this is real. This is true story.
1, 2, 3.
This is true story. I couldn't Irish whip him, nor could I kick out. Then if we got out the ring, so toward the later years when you're able to get out the ring and start running around and grab things outside the ring, I never knew how to do it. So if I picked up something or got out of the ring, it was by accident, and then I could never get back in. So if I got counted out, the match was over.
Just the good old days.
Did you guys see, or of course you saw it, it was on Raw. They announced a gauntlet match for Monday.
Yeah, for the IC championship.
And the participants are going to be Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, Ricochet, Nakamura, Bronson Reed, and JD McDonough. Who y'all got? What do y'all want to happen to go to fight Gunther at Mania?
Because he did say, as of now, the winner of that, only one winner will be going against Gunther at WrestleMania, as of right now. Oh, I'm going to have to say Sammy. Sammy can take the loss. And then after Mania, Chad goes on the IC run. I think we kind of mentioned that a few weeks ago.
That sounds about right. I definitely think that Sammy would do it. I kind of prefer Chad, but I can see a match with Sammy. But I know we're gonna get an eventual match with Jey and Jimmy, right? I know those guys won it, and it's a bloodline match. They can definitely headline that. But to me, it seems like the match for Mania that's bigger than all those matches would be Jey versus Gunther and Jey winning the IC championship at Mania. I feel like that'd be a big moment that we're missing. I know they want to do something else, but I feel like that would be because we talk like Jey, one of the most popular guys, right? I feel like he will blow the roof off if he were to win and beat a champion like Gunther, right? A credible, unbeatable Gunther. Jey wins the championship, blows the roof off. I think that'd be a Mania moment right there. But
it would be incredible. It would be absolutely incredible, and it would be fitting for Jey to take it off of Gunther. Even though a lot of times we know with these like streaks, like you want to give the person who beats it should get the rub. Jey Uso doesn't need a rub, so that would be the argument about doing that. You would say, okay, Chad could get that rub and always be known as the guy who beat Gunther's streak, just like Cody's going to get that rub of saying he was the one that took down Roman Reigns. So you got to protect that. But man, absolutely, they didn't have that match a couple weeks ago on Raw. Yes, because Jey has not won a big match in a long time, in a really, really long time, and he still is popular and over as he is.
Drew is the same boat, right? I feel like Drew hasn't really won a lot of matches either.
Well, remember, we talked about Cody. He lost 12. Well, besides that one, remember? Yeah. Before that, he's lost 12 championship matches in a row.
I didn't know it was that many, and I didn't know it was for the championship. Sheesh.
He beating everybody now.
He's on fire, too, man. Speaking of on fire, so I think we found out who started the "You Suck" and the boo chants at Maxine Dupree at that live event.
What happened? I missed it. What?
Candice LeRae.
Stop.
Candice LeRae cannot stand
Man,
Maxine Dupree. Like, yo.
She said, first off, you can't even lace my boots. Don't sit up here and try to give me no rah-rah speech. She
went hard on her. I was like, damn, now I see how Johnny be getting it at home. When she's stressed out and tired with the kid, I was like, okay, we see the real Candice right there. Get that to me. But she went hard on Maxine. Maxine was like, what did I do? That was great. But yeah, I would take either Chad or Sammy. I'm good with. I think Chad I think Chad's gonna be the one that gets the IC belt. So if you want to crown him at Mania, cool. For some reason they're not. Give me Sammy because that's gonna be in play for match of the night, whichever night that's on, night 1 or night 2, and then crown Chad after that.
Damn, think about Sammy. Think about Sammy, man. After he lost to Roman, like he ain't been the same. Yep. Like, right? Because he was like one of the most. He was hotter than Jey, right? Like we all talked about it. We all like, man, what if Sammy wins, right? Is there a world where Sammy can wrestle Cody at Mania or something like that?
Yeah.
But think about he lost that match and.
No, but stay there for a second. So if we were rewound time a year ago, there were people who legit were saying Sami Zayn deserves that WrestleMania title or beating Roman Reigns more than Cody Rhodes. Yep. And now we fast forward 365 days later, and it's like, no, they knew best, but that's also why you still have to just give props to the Bloodline and the Bloodline story. Because everybody really is either at or they ascend when they feud with Roman. Unlike with Cena, it was like, yeah, you ascend during those 3 or 4 weeks of that build, but then after he beats you, there was no follow-up. And even he mentioned that in an interview a while back. But yeah, man. Well, yeah, he talked about that. That's why he puts Roman over him in like regards to like, the GOAT status or Mount Rushmore. He said because Roman has done an incredible job of keeping people around him relevant. No matter even if he beats them, they're still relevant. They're still big opposed to me. And he kind of gave his thoughts about why, but he just said that like I would beat him and then they kind of came across as like garbage.
Well, that's because you had such a bad booker in the name of Vincent K. McMahon who didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and he treated everybody like trash after he was done. That's what he did. I mean, I guess that's what he did with people in real life general, too, right? He'll use you, and then once he was done, you're just out with the trash, right? So that was partly a booking, John. That's not on you.
Yeah, because you got to have something like he was booking the heels against Cena like this was the territories.
Yep.
Right, like he would do back in the day with like
with Hogan.
Yeah, like okay. Yeah. But the difference is it's not territories on TV. You got to use these guys again. Like nobody's coming in for a 3-month run. They're on a contract for 3 years.
Right.
So yeah.
Because you remember, just real quick before we get off of it, you remember like Earthquake back in the day, man. I remember. I don't know if I was scared of Earthquake, but I felt like Earthquake was going to end Hogan's title reign. We didn't give Hogan enough credit for really creating a sense of dread to where these dudes can potentially take the belt from him.
Yes, man. Yeah.
Right? And then he'll beat them. And then after he beat them, like, they just fell off. Like Earthquake, like, he just went on to he went to the tag team title. Like, he just wasn't that guy after that, right? And that happens with so many of the Hogan guys. Like, Hogan made these guys look so good back in the day. I guess we don't give him credit for what he did back in the day. But, I guess, fuck him now. He's a racist. So
he on one.
2 middle fingers up.
But that's the thing, though, when you look at how heels were built back in the day. Like, you would build a heel. You could build a heel up in a TV taping's worth, right? They do 3 or 4 TV shows. You put the rocket on them that's going to turn out to be a month and a half worth of TV. And that gets us to the next pay-per-view, where now it's like, okay, well, it's all about that story of getting to the ladder. All right, now you run that U.S. Championship IC. Okay, now let's get you to that next level. So the philosophies are different, but we can see this way of booking is much more consistent for all the talent than, all right, let's bring in a monster, shoot him to the top. Because really, after you lose to Hogan, what's next?
Yep.
Or any of your top babyface. Okay, you lost to the top babyface. Yeah, you can get your heat back on, by jumping somebody. But really, it's kind of like, well, we know you ain't him, so ain't nowhere else to go but down.
Yeah.
What else from Raw? What else was big that y'all cared about?
Just the fun that Micheal Cole was having. First of all, Pat McAfee's going to break one of the announcers' table at some point in his tenure this year. Getting hype between Jay, getting hype and all that. But
hey, we're real quick, Rhodesia. Did you see the article with Pat McAfee talking about that he couldn't pass a WWE drug test?
Ooh, no, I haven't. Please
Did
enlighten me.
you see it, Matt?
Please enlighten me.
I saw the quote that basically everything they test for, like, he would pop negative or positive for or something like that.
Ooh, he probably shouldn't say it out loud.
That's what I'm like, damn. So, like, everything? He said everything they test for? Everything?
He sound like Riddle. Did you
Just
see
I saw the Riddle one. You saw the Riddle one?
Man, dude.
Yeah,
what did the Riddle one say?
Remember, Riddle was like, yeah, they fined me and suspended me because I tested positive for cocaine. I was doing cocaine at the strip club. He was just
he said every time it was cocaine.
Yeah.
Every time
I understood where they were at. We're not getting it. We had a good time there. I missed Randy, but I was like, dude,
are we serious? We serious?
Yeah, he said they don't suspend you. They don't suspend you for marijuana. He said every time it was cocaine.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, okay. But Pat pretty much said that he couldn't pass a drug test because everything they test for, he'll get popped for. So I guess he will get he's getting the Riddle party in going as well, right? I'm like, damn, Pat is really out there living his life, right? He said he on a rich man. He said that and he said when he retired, he wanted the rich man drugs to stay skinny or healthy or whatever.
Listen, people who are rich, that is what they do. They do
but
coke.
Are you sure he wasn't? I don't think he was talking about coke, though. Are you sure he wasn't talking about that one weight loss drug?
He's talking about the weight loss drug. That's what he mentioned. He said he wanted the weight loss drug, but he said everything, though. So, I mean, everything is also the party drugs, too, right? And you think about how nice he is sometimes. It makes sense, right? But, hey, here's the thing, though, Pat. You could be at Mania because they don't test the part-timers as Brock. Or don't ask Brock because he's canceled now. But
let's not use Brock.
But they don't test the part timers.
Well, we know Dwayne's not getting. Yeah, Dwayne is absolutely.
Dwayne's not passing the performance enhancing ones. Those he might be clean for coke, maybe.
I'm sure he's not gonna be clean for coke.
He's not gonna be clean for performance enhancement.
Performance enhancing. Them PEDs is running through his veins, boy.
Hey, let me ask you a question. We said we're sure he's clear for coke, man. Have you noticed how big his nostrils are getting as the older he gets?
Who? Which one?
Rock.
No, stop.
The Rock?
Yeah.
Your noses don't get bigger because you smoke.
His nostrils are getting much bigger, man.
So, I mean, are you saying because his nostrils are bigger, they're primed for cocaine? hey,
look, his body is his arms are real thick. You never know what get up that nose, right? I don't know.
Yeah, when I saw the McAfee quote, I didn't even think about cocaine. I just took it as he's saying, like, I can't get back in the ring because any performance-enhancing drug that they're going to test for, I'm popping.
He didn't say performance-enhancing, though.
I know, that's what I said. That's why I took it as.
If he did or didn't, he said them all. So
he said all.
It's everything.
He said everything they're testing for, I'll pop for. I'm like, ooh. Everything, huh?
But to your point, Cole was having a good time. I told Rhodesia last night, like, that was a rib on Cole with those antlers. Because unless I'm mistaken, have you ever heard Cole get hype about her antlers before last night?
No, not that I know. Not that I noticed.
And that's what I thought. I couldn't remember either. So when he was like, yes, and I'm like, what the hell? He's like, the antlers. And then when she put it, I was like, that's a rib. I can guarantee you Triple H got on the headset and told him to put the antlers over, get excited, but not telling him why. But hey, put the antlers over, get excited about it. And then they went over there and put the antlers on them, which is cool. I guess I forgot too. They're in Texas. That's where Cole's from. So good on Cole, man. We talk about it a lot. I just remember when he was looked at as the worst announcer in history because he was not good.
Doormat.
And all that. And now look at him. That he's actually getting the flowers he deserves. So shout out to Cole too.
Once Dirty Nasty Vince got out of there, man, it was like a breath of fresh air. Like my man Cole just was unleashed for the best, man. Because I love the emotion. This run he's on, Matt, like it's up there with JR. Like Rhodesia wasn't around for like the big calls, but JR was the man. But like Cole right up there, man.
Man, so like I think I could never go against JR. Okay, so here's the thing. If we're talking like real, JR hurts his legacy every time he goes out there for me.
Yes.
And not hurt his legacy like, dude, you are so washed, you need to go sit down somewhere. But of course he's not what he was. So when you talk about like, hey man, who's better, Cole or JR? What I'm going to think about is I listened to Revolution and heard him call two matches, and then I heard Cole on Raw or on SmackDown or at the PLE and call it. So that's why it's a. But man, you talk about all the Attitude Era, Stone Cold. Oh my God, they killed him. He just has so many, and that's what it is. He has so many quotables. Yeah. Nobody will ever touch him when it comes to quotables. Now you're talking just 3-hour show or 4-hour show, bell to bell. The run that Cole is on right now, man, is off the charts good.
Yeah.
What else? Liv Morgan. I like where they're going with her. I do. I see a lot of people who think that she's gonna be added to the WrestleMania match. No, let's pump the brakes. No, it's just Becky and Rhea 1-on-1, and then Liv can have the scraps after that. But I do like what they're doing with her because she's once again. It looks like she's going heel, but in every villain story there has to be truth to it, and she was wrong, and everything she's saying is accurate.
Has she
to her? She
didn't lose her belt, did she? She had to forfeit her belt, right? Or am I off?
She lost.
You talking about the tag? You talking about the tag titles?
No, when she won the World Championship.
That was a long time ago.
But did she ever?
She wasn't champ. Yeah, she wasn't champ when she went out injured.
Yeah,
recently.
Did she ever have a rematch? Okay, I guess that part doesn't even matter. Whatever.
But that's what they do a lot of times, right? I don't think she got a rematch, but that's what they would do with once you lose that championship, they offer you. Yeah. They move on to the next thing. That's what happened with her.
And man, I think I'm in trouble.
What happened?
I got excited on Monday. Monday afternoon, Jade puts out a tweet. She quote tweets EO Sky and basically just says, watch your mouth before somebody does something with y'all team. Just kind of talking shit. I'm like, hell yeah, we getting Bianca and Jade versus Kabuki Warriors. Damn it! And then earlier today, Bianca quote tweets Tiffany Stratton. And I'm like, damn, we getting Bianca Belair versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. I'm going to love that match. I just really wanted Jade and Bianca to start as a team. I thought that would set Jade up perfectly. But either way.
Get that SummerSlam.
Yeah, either way, it'd be good. But yeah, she said something to Tiffany. Do you guys have a problem with I want Bianca to keep that undefeated WrestleMania streak until she doesn't need it. It could be next year or 2 years, but she's undefeated at WrestleMania. She just did an interview where she talked about wanting a singles women's match at WrestleMania that's not for the title, because that doesn't happen like really at all, which I had to think about. I was like, man, she's right. It's either multi-women match or it's the championship match. So she said that she does want that. So, of course, if she wants it, try to give it to her. But who do you guys want to win? If we do get Tiffany Stratton and Bianca, do you want Bianca to keep her undefeated streak, or do you want Tiffany to win? Because if Bianca does keep her undefeated streak, then Tiffany would have lost at the Rumble or didn't win the Rumble, lost at Chamber, and then losing at Mania.
But Tiffany won against Naomi, from what the internet said, is in a squash match, right? To answer your question, no, Bianca needs to win WrestleMania if she's going against Tiffany Stratton. I think what they are still doing, they're still giving Tiffany the pomp and circumstances when she comes out. They're giving her that time to shine and glow. So to me, I think that if she loses against Bianca at Mania, no harm, no foul. Like it's not going to really matter. I get the point of building up your new upcoming people that you're going to put this rocket strap on, that you want to keep them hot. But she absolutely can take a loss from Bianca Belair. Let that undefeated streak continue until it is actually more meaningful to lose it. And as of this moment, I just don't think it's as meaningful to lose it. And I love the fact that Bianca said that she wants just a singles women's match, because you're right, we don't get that. And that's something that I haven't even really paid attention to, because I'm excited because I'm seeing women. Now we need to actually change this a little bit more. Outside of your title matches, we should still see a singles match, especially you got 2 nights.
I think that Bianca's just she's like a master of her character. She's so professional, right? It's like, oh yeah, I won a non-championship match at Mania, right? Because that's what she's gonna get. So she's hyping it up really well. And to answer the question, I honestly didn't know that she was undefeated. I don't really care. As a Bianca fan, she's my favorite female wrestler. I don't care if she's undefeated or not. If she were to lose, I will understand. Like, I could see her losing. Like you want to continue to push Tiffany Stratton up there, make her one of the next big things, because like Bianca's already there. Like, she's not like her character and aura is that she can take a loss and she'll be just fine, because she's too good of a character. She's too good on the microphone. Like, there's too much value and equity in her with the fans, with the company, for her not to survive like a loss at a Mania. I think she'll be just fine. I think like the next heel run that she has was going to be phenomenal. The tag match, I was never really sold on her and Jade. Going for the tag team titles. I mean, I would honestly rather see Naomi and Bianca going for the titles. I mean, but there could be
not Naomi and Jade.
No, but I definitely could see like a scenario where Bianca and Jade win the championships, and then they go on kind of like they become frenemies. But I kind of want to see Jade stand on her own when she first debuts. I don't want to see her associated with somebody else for any length of time. I think when she comes out there, she needs to be ready to go as a singles competitor and star. So to go back to the original question, I'm fine with her losing, but I'm fine with her winning too. But I just don't know if she wins, what that does for her.
For who? For Bianca?
It doesn't do anything for Bianca, but I think a loss would do a lot for Tiffany, and then that could create more story for later on, right? Because we got a whole other year to Mania, right? They can create a whole nother story of Tiffany and Bianca beyond this match that will kind of be not like you couldn't do as much if she were to if Bianca were to win the match.
Yeah, I mean, that's smart business, because that's the one of those you say Bianca can take a loss. Just like that's why she doesn't need the title. The only way I'll be like really, really good with it is if they actually, unless she brings up the streak on TV. So say they make the match official next week or in 2 weeks, and then she takes the last 2 or 3 weeks of the build to talk about she's been undefeated at WrestleMania. She's going to be the new Miss EST of WrestleMania. And then you have
I can see that.
Beat her. Yep. And then it's like, okay, cool. We just talked about kind of giving that rub. that would be the rub that Bianca could give to Tiffany. And then you give Tiffany the Money in the Bank briefcase in June, and we are off to the races.
But I am very interested on what's next for Jade? I know we're about to end off on this podcast. We can end off on that. Like, what's next for Jade? Because it can't be EO, right? Because it can't be EO. EO's destination is Bailey
NXT.
at
It's
Mania.
Bailey.
Jade is in NXT. That's her next. No pun intended.
That's a great question. Okay, so if we don't get the tag match, I mean, let's talk it out real quick and we can end on it. We still don't know what promotion she's on, which brand. I just kept assuming she was going to go on Raw because SmackDown just got Braun Breaker and they just signed somebody. Oh, Tiffany. So I'm like, there's no way they're going to put Jade on SmackDown too. So just assuming she's on Raw, do they do another multi-woman match and she's in it and she destroys everybody and she wins it? Is that the call?
Hey, Rhodesia, you like that the Andre Memorial? We got the what's the female version of it? Isn't it the what's
Mae
the old
Young?
girl's name?
Mae Young.
Mae Young.
Mae Young Classic is more of a tournament, though.
But wasn't it Moolah? Wasn't it Moolah?
Oh yeah, Fabulous Moolah.
yeah, it was
she had
Moolah's,
she
right?
had an over the top battle reel.
No, but she was a piece of crap too to the girl.
Yeah.
I heard that she was like a pimp, right?
Yeah.
She was more than that. Yep.
So I think we should cancel
She
her
was
too,
trafficking
right?
them girls.
Yeah,
I think, but she did have something though, didn't she? I think that she did have something, but we haven't seen it since then though.
It's
I think it was a
nothing like
one-shot.
an Andre the Giant over the top battle royal.
No, it's a
Flat
lot.
out.
I don't know.
Flat out.
So what are you doing then for Jade?
I told you NXT.
No, at WrestleMania. She's gonna be at WrestleMania.
Stand and deliver.
She
I'll
could.
be damned.
Wait a minute. Before I ride with Rhodesia, 'cause I don't know. Is that what it is? Is that what's coming up? Is it Stand and Deliver?
It is Stand and Deliver.
Okay.
Stand and Deliver is the Saturday afternoon of night one of WrestleMania.
It's not vengeance. It's stand and deliver.
So that's what I would do. Actually, I will come out. I will have Jay pop up on NXT and squash Laura Valkyrie.
Oh.
And become the new NXT champion, leading right to CW. Hey, and another thing we got to follow up on the next pod is, did you guys know the Raw doesn't have a home for the last 90 days of their contract? Or after their contract ends?
Yeah.
Yes, there's a buffer from September to
December
January,
1st or
I think,
something like
right,
that.
or something like
Maybe
that.
the end
But
of October
didn't they just say something the last few days about they have a home now, but they don't know where or something like that?
Well, how do they have a home but they don't know where? I ain't never heard nothing like that before.
Yeah, I thought I saw something like that last week. Yeah, I never just looked more into it.
We'll follow up on the next pod.
Last thing, and then we can get out of here. You talk about NXT. I'm going to assume, because we of course record on Tuesday nights, so we typically record during NXT. I'm going to assume at this point, Trick Williams is showing up to cost Carmelo Hayes his match to take on Dragunov at Stand and Deliver.
Sure.
So I'm going to assume then we're going to get Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams at Stand and Deliver. Where do you guys rank that match in terms of for that weekend? And we don't even know the majority of matches announced yet for the entire weekend, but in terms of highly anticipated matches for you personally.
Go 5. Say 2 and 2
Top
from
5?
Raw. Yep, from Raw and SmackDown, and then 1 from the NXT. 5.
Okay.
No,
I'll roll
6,
that
6,
too.
6, 6. No, 5 is my Andre the Giant over the top battle row. So number 6.
Okay, I'll go with 6.
Thank you.
So I go Roman, Cody, the tag match. That's 2. I'm actually probably going, because I really want to see that match. I'll go 6-2, but it's probably like 7th or 8th. I think ROH is going to do something crazy. This will give us one of those matches that
I
said that
the whole weekend.
Yeah. I think
ROH.
we'll get that. You remember that company? You remember that promotion we were really excited about that they brought back, and we got the Briscoes and FTR. It was incredible. And then they did a streaming service, and I was like, I'm kind of waiting to see. You were like,
Anyway, I don't think
of it.
Yeah, I don't think you were ever as hype on ROH. You were like, get that shit off my TV, Tony Khan.
Oh, when they started integrating on AEW, 100%. And that's the thing, too. And we'll get out of here. But, man, we talk about, like, low times. Wasn't nothing worse than all that ROH integration on Dynamite.
That is true.
I'll take Satnam Singh and Jeff Jarrett and all of them in a pre-show match if I ain't got to see ROH integration. And Kyle O'Reilly's back. Shout out to that. That should be interesting to see where that story goes. It was good to see him. They legit said him and Pac, they thought was done for. They wouldn't be able to wrestle again.
Wow, Pac too?
Like body-wise?
Yeah,
wow.
Both of them. Their injuries were that bad.
Wow.
That there was a time where they were like, okay, they're basically...
Well, Adam Cole too, right? Adam Cole wasn't supposed to... He was day-to-day.
Oh,
damn, these guys are young too. We having these career-ending injuries. Jeez, oh peas. You know, we're starting out. Hey, real quick, I love Pac. Yeah, when I saw him, like, that's my guy. He is so talented. He needs to shine too. Pac, Lance Archer, AEW has so much talent that we should be able to see on a weekly basis. I know Pac's been injured, but man, they got a wolf of talent, man. But we're talking about it soon. AEW has a great opportunity in the next month or so to really, do that with that thing Rhodesia does with her arm.
And I have on my blazer. You can't hear it. It doesn't work right.
Oh, we can't hear it. Then it's time to go.
Hey, maybe I'll pipe it in from a previous pod right into that segment.
Ain't no point in sticking around if I can't hear that. We out. We about to clock out of here. All right. So on Sunday's pod, we'll talk about SmackDown. Of course, we're going to talk about the promo segment that we're going to get with Bloodline and Cody and Seth. So that should be really interesting to see if we get physicality, all that kind of good stuff. And then we're going to talk about E's topic, which I think is a really, really good one. Like, state of AEW heading into WrestleMania season. So they got a lot of good stuff. Yeah, they got a lot of good stuff that they can do, to E's point. Mercedes coming in. We still got Okada. Just saw Ospreay. So we'll hit those. And anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything you guys want to talk about, of course, hit us up on X. I already gave out. That's FNW. YouTube. That's Freakin Wrestling. We are we're getting close to 500 subscribers on YouTube. I know we don't do a good job of telling you guys to go sub, but my thing is, you guys listen to other podcasts. You know the deal. Let them promote everything and just do it for us, right? So they talk about 5 stars, give us 5 stars. They talk about comments, give us comments. Do all that kind of stuff. But hit us up anywhere. Subscribe, whatever, follow, all that kind of good stuff. All right? We out of here. We will see you guys on Sunday.